People who love you will criticize you. People who care about you will criticize you. Accepting criticism is very important to us. When you are able to accept feedback, you will be able to change yourself for better. Accepting criticism is a sign of maturity. If you are able to work through this and if you are able to take the feedback positively without feeling horrible about yourself, trust me, you will be able to grow in life a lot. But sometimes it is very hard to differentiate between the positive feedback which people are giving us and the negative criticism which we are receiving. And in this scenario, what we can do to understand what is good for us and what is not, it's very difficult sometimes. But knowing what is good feedback and what is just to put you down is very important. Once you are able to figure that out, you need to know who really loves you and who has your back no matter what, and who just wants to put you down, because there are people who are just like that, and they love putting others down to lift themselves up, because they know that they can't do a lot in life, and if they want to prove their point and be something, then they have to put someone down. And they do that to you. They love preying on people, they love draining out people's confidence, they love telling you that you're not good enough. If you believe them, you will feel miserable all the time. I think all of us have had people around us who loved to pull us down, who always told us that we were not good enough. And it can be your own family member, it can be your closest friend, it can be your life partner as well. So, how to deal with these kind of people can sometimes be a challenge, especially if they are someone whom you cannot cut off from your life. Making them understand that their feedback is just putting you down and putting you in this kind of negative self pattern, making them understand that you do not want their feedback anymore can be a challenge. But with three simple steps, you can implement them and you can feel much better about yourself. There are several reasons why someone would criticize you. Sometimes people are just jealous of your success. Sometimes they believe that you are not good enough, and sometimes they believe that they are not good enough. So when they think that they are not good enough and you can do a lot, instead of them trying for themselves, they just feel that it's easier to put someone down, so they do that. And there's not much you can do about this, because you cannot change people's behavior, you cannot change people. The only thing you can do is change yourself. So work on yourself and work towards finding ways to be a better human being. That's the only thing you can do. And take these steps, like, do this. Do not feel like you owe them your attention, your time, and you don't have to always take in people's feedback, because sometimes it's okay not to want criticisms and not wanting feedback. But also, taking some positive criticisms at times can be good for us. Ignoring the unhealthy criticism is also very important for us. The first step is to avoid. Like, this is the most simple thing you can do is avoid them. Whatever they are saying, just nod, say yes, okay, and avoid them. As long as you are pretending that you are listening to them and they're being heard, I think most of them are okay with that. It happens with people who are your close friends, maybe your family members, your co-workers, your bosses, your professors and teachers, who feel that their criticism need to be heard by someone who is usually at a junior level than them. They will keep on giving you feedback, and as long as you are like say, okay, I hear you, and you avoid it, you do not take it to heart and do not feel horrible about yourself, it's going to be okay. So you can do that, because in certain situations you can't really go for direct confrontation, and you cannot be like, I don't want to listen to you. You just cannot fight people. You just have to avoid them until they understand that whatever they are saying does not make sense, because sometimes they do understand, sometimes they don't. It's all we can do is look inwards and, you know, do things that is good for us, but we can't, you know, change other people and their behavior and their patterns. So instead of trying to, change them and telling them, okay, I don't want to hear you, blah blah blah, just listen to them, nod, and just forget about what they said. Just avoid whatever they are telling you, because most of the time you know that it's not worth it, because they do not have the best interest of you in their heart, and they're just doing whatever to bring you down. So just avoid them. And if you find any good feedback from time to time, even the most negative people who are jealous sometimes give us good feedback. So if you find something that can be useful, use that. But rest of it, it's just not worth it. It's worth avoiding, so avoid it. The second thing you can try is direct confrontation. Sometimes it gets very overwhelming, and especially with people who do not understand that they are being avoided. They constantly push you around, and they keep on saying the thing until you are get angry, or you have an outburst. Either way, you will either listen to them or you just tell them to back off. So if you feel a person is pestering you a lot with all their unwanted feedbacks, you just tell them to please shut up. I am not interested in listening to your feedback. And tell them that it's very important that you learn when to stop, because if you have boundaries for yourself, and if you know what is good for you and what is not good for you, and you don't let people push you around, then you are doing good in life. And sometimes telling people to stop and telling people that you do not need their feedback is the best step you can do for yourself. There are times people will not understand your unset cues. They will not understand that you are trying to avoid them or you're just ignoring them. They will keep pushing you over and over until you are like, no, just say a firm no. And most of the time people back off. They might be offended, they might be angry at you, but they will back off. But if they don't back off, then there is another third step which you can implement. The third step that I want you to implement, if nothing works out, is being sarcastic. Like, thank them for their advice, make them feel special, that okay, you're so grateful that they gave you advice and you love their advice, and you are so happy that they told you these advice, whatever they told you, and you just do the exact opposite of the advice. Just be a sarcastic human being. This is the worst possible thing you can do to someone. But sometimes when avoidance and direct confrontation does not work, you have to behave in a less acceptable way. But sarcasm and showing that you are interested when in reality you're not interested until they get the point. If you are sarcastic with them and you do exactly the opposite that they want you to do, at a point of time they will understand, okay, you don't care about their opinion, or they'll be angry again. Either you can completely avoid them, block them, cut them out of your life. But if you can't, you can avoid their advice. You can sarcastically avoid their advice, or you can just tell them a formula. Whatever works out for you, you can use either of these three steps, or you can use all of these steps depending on the situation you have. Sometimes I avoid people, sometimes I just tell them to not give me their unsolicited advice, and sometimes I just sarcastically avoid them, because that's the best thing I can do. Because it's easiest to avoid confrontation, avoid drama, avoid anything. Just tell them thank you so much and ignore them for the rest of your life. And if they try to, explain themselves again and give feedback to you, like, yeah, I'm working on it. Don't worry, I have taken your advice. It takes time for me to work on certain things, because I'm not smart enough like you think I am. And thank you for telling me I'm not good enough, because I might never be able to be good enough. So I'm working on it. Give me time and just take infinite amount of time from them. I'm sure they will get the hint. If they don't, then I'm sorry. These people are just hopeless. I don't know what you can do with them, because it depends on who they are to you. But if nothing works out in these situations, then you just have to cut them off. Even if they are important to you, cutting them out is the most healthy decision you can take for yourself. Like, if it's your boss, you can change your organization, You can change your department. If this person is your sibling, you can just cut contact with them, or you can limit contact with them. If this person is your parent, you can do the same as you would do to a sibling. If it's a friend, you can completely cut them off. Or if this is your partner, you can break up with them or divorce them. You can take steps to absolutely avoid these people. But if you think that the relationship with them is more important than these stupid little things, then you can use these strategies and see if it works out. If not, the last resort is always cut them off. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked the video. This was a bit personal for me because the last few months I have been criticized a lot by people for literally no reason, for literally trying to do things which make me happy. And I feel sometimes I get a lot of unsolicited advice. I avoid them sometimes I just thank them sarcastically, and sometimes I just tell them to please stop, because there is a point of time in life where you can't take it anymore, where you do not appreciate those advices anymore. So it depends. And if it really goes out of hand, I would cut that person off. I would make sure to find a way that I'm not around that person anymore. So it's a very personal situation, which I'm going through right now, and I wanted to talk about it because I feel it's a common problem, and many of us do go through this. And my friends often, call me and ask me, okay, this is happening with me. What do I do in this situation? I give them either of these three advices or steps to take to navigate through problems like this. So it's the most practical and the only three steps you can take, and the fourth one is always the last resort, cutting them off. I did not want to include this in the video because we all find it easy to cut people off, but we find it more difficult to manage people and still keep relationship with them. So if you want to keep a relationship with somebody and not want their unsolicited advices, you can try these steps out. Let me know if you did any of them and if it worked out for you. And if you like the video, please consider subscribing to my channel, and also hit the like button and leave a comment down below. That helps me a lot. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. Goodbye.